Alright guys, we'll go ahead and get started real soon here. I'm just waiting for people to show up for Tutorial Tuesday. For those of you who are listening on YouTube when this is uploaded, Tutorial Tuesday happens every Tuesday live on twitch.tv/RinTheYordle. I try to go over tutorials that people want or just keep stuff in order so that it's interesting and can keep a flow. Like last week we went over... I'm sorry, I missed last week actually, but the week prior to that, I started going over the base structure of faces, and today we're going to go over more just practicing of faces, trying to get noses down, trying to get the eyes proportions down, just focusing more on the actual details themselves, in which we're going to be looking at real life drawings, we're going to do more real life, realistic stuff so that we can incorporate it into our style later. So yeah, we're going to be looking at real life pictures that we can find easily on Google search. Just find some faces and try drawing them and discuss what we're making out of it too, so that we can understand what we're doing and use that for later. Looks like a couple people are strolling in now, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Like I said, today... Oh, let me change info. Alright. So... faces, I think, deserve a lot more attention when it comes to it, because there's a lot of little details that you can really miss. Even with hands and stuff like that, there's more details that we can go over, but faces are really, like, people seem to have a lot of issues with them, and a lot of times artists will spend a lot of their time just drawing bust drawings so that they can just work on getting the head down to the shoulders and so on, so that they can get, you know, different noses, different chin types. The face really holds a lot of our personality, while the rest of our bodies are pretty normal overall, unless you're trying to, you know, really push a characteristic. For the most part, it still follows a lot of the same stuff. So let's see what we can really kind of push today. So we're gonna look for faces. Okay. So with practicing faces today, I'm literally just looking up just faces in Google search. And what face do I want to do first? I want to do an interesting face. Let's see what we can make out of it. Here we go. This one's funny. This one's from the Pentagon post. So I'm going to use this drawing here. I'm literally just going to try to draw off of it. And discuss my process as I'm working on it. That way, hopefully, we can, you know, start getting an idea. And this is what I want you guys to do. If you want to practice along with me today, I would highly recommend it. Get a picture of a face and just draw it. Let's get a good sketchy brush. Where's my good brush? I've got way too many brushes right now. And hello everyone in chat. Hi, welcome. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the tutorial today. It's gonna be kind of another short one, but we're gonna see how far we can get, as much as we can today. So let's see. Alright, so like we did last time, we're gonna kind of go with the general face shape. And I'm gonna try to get at least just my blueprints down so that I can try drawing her, right? So... I am tired too, Oren. Hi, by the way, bro. What's up? Alright, so Her face is downwards more. So top of her ear is like here, following this line. Oops, I should probably get my eraser on the same. Here we go. Get her eyes in here. Now remember those blueprints that I was talking about last time? This time you have to follow the shape of her head because her head's down, turned down a little bit, right? So it still follows. You still have this line right here that follows from the top of the ear to the tip of her eye, or the outside of her eye. So keep that in mind, guys. Alright, we got her nose. Try to plot this out again. So her nose, tip of it goes about there. Lips go about there. She's got them puckered, so we'll keep that small. And then her chin's kind of small because we're tilted downwards. Alright. Hey Nonu, you didn't miss much. It's alright. Literally just drawing off of a picture using the plot lines and blue lines that I was talking about last time. And we're just practicing faces, and I urge people to practice along with me. Just grab a picture of a face from Google and try to make it as decent as possible. Like, don't be super upset if it's bad or anything. Just try to go with it. So... I'll run, please. Alright, so... Now, eye shape, let's see here. What can I find out about this eye shape? She's got small eyebrows, so... I think I have her head tilted a little too much, but we're gonna make it work. So it's kind of like... Try to get the shape down. Kind of a... Honestly, when you think about it, eyes are kind of a... Eyes are weird, especially realistic. Like, she's got her one eye that's like this. I think what I've ended up liking to do is kind of a half circle underneath the line, and then like the other half circle, if that makes sense. And then for my different eye styles, I'm actually working on some of that, so... That's kind of what we got going on here. We've got... Kind of get the shape. How's the shape? Yeah. Her lips are puckered. See, this is what I love. I love trying to figure out shapes and how I want to make them. And this is really great practice. It's just kind of going, oh, okay, so how do the lips form here? She's got them puckered, right? She's doing the little duck face thing. But whatever, it's kind of a funny face. And they're interesting shapes, too. So, like, how's this kind of look? And then... So, she's got the highlights on her lower lip. Here, let's make this easier so people can actually see this. Copy. So people can actually kind of follow along with what we're doing. Now, when you're doing details on the face, like the lines of her lips, you don't want to enhance those too much, because then you're just going to make her look old. A thing about faces is that the more lines that you end up adding to it that are actually visible rather than being shaded in, it will cause the person to look a lot older. So if you're going for an older person, like draw a lot of the lines, start getting a lot of that extra detail in there. If you're trying to draw someone younger, don't put too many detailed lines in there. You're gonna want to shade most of it in because it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be fairly soft considering. Alright, let's try to get the shape of this nose down a little bit more. So don't forget the eyelids too, guys. I found out that once you have your shape of your eye down, I started doing this more to enhance eyes. Just doing this very, very simple shade right here to get that under eyelid without overdoing it is actually a really nice little enhance to pop the eye a little bit more. Make it actually show that you've got an eye, not unless you're doing anime. I mean, anime, you just have like the eye and it just kind of sits there. That's a style that they do. But for a little bit more realistic, it's really nice to do that. I've really been enjoying enhancing that bottom eyelid just a little bit more. I also, just so you guys know, for sketching this kind of stuff, I have my opacity set down kind of low right now so that I can literally keep going in and erasing and trying to make these shapes as needed. So, okay. It's kind of like charcoal for me. And I like trying to learn stuff in charcoal because you can really push the medium around as you need and keep, you know, erasing and moving and erasing and, you know, squashing your materials around so that it doesn't have to be, it's not solid. Like, you can keep moving it as you need to as you're learning to figure out where all this is going to go. So alright, so we're just trying to get some of the shades in. Really pay attention to where some of the shading is, because this is also going to be part of your shapes. Look at this shape that she has going on right here on her cheeks, right? So that's where some of our shades actually gonna go. And that's a shape that it makes. But you have to be careful because it's a shape and it's a shade, not a line. But that's gonna really enhance her pucker that she's making, right? She's also got that little puckered lip section right here. A little hint for people who are using more like pencils. Something that I learned in high school that was really helpful for me is when you're doing pencils, you want to follow the lines of the face. Like, think of it as a 3D model where you have the gridding going on. That's going to follow that whole grid around. And you got to make it, you got to make that mesh, kind of, right? So when you're doing the forehead, you'll usually want to go side to side like this. And then for the eyes under here, you'll probably want to do a downward motion. And each of the lines start to form together. So you've got this going on here. The lines kind of follow like this. And so on. Follow the shape of the face. Don't just draw, you know, side to side for the entire thing, okay? Don't do that. You do that, you're going to mess up in pencil really, really, really badly. It's going to actually completely alter how you draw with traditional medium. And if you're really confused about what I mean with the gridding and follow the lines of the face, try looking up a 3D mesh of a person. Let's see if I can find a good one real quick. Alright, here's a warning for people. I'm sorry. Don't, we're learning about bodies and stuff like that, guys, so don't freak out. It's got a little bit, it's got boobies, but it's the best one that I've got here. Okay? See how the lines follow the face? How that, it's called topology, actually, on a 3D mesh. You want to follow those lines. You want to make that. That's how, when you're shading with pencils, you're going to want to follow that on all of the body. Try following a line. Try following how your form actually makes. If you're going to need to draw circles to understand how this arm makes circles, then do it, okay? That's what's really, really, really going to help, especially with pencils, colored pencils, traditional mediums, even in digital. If you're using kind of a colored pencil look, you're going to want to follow those lines, okay? It can be really, 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 really helpful pushing just that little extra more that you're going to need. Alright, so we're going to keep trying to get some of her shades in here. It's a little bit darker under her lip. Probably going to have to pick up. Chin's a little bit more rounded. Whoops. Another thing that I like doing with digital mediums is I really, really, really like picking up what shades I've actually made out of the actual drawing. Like, okay, I was using this really dark color the entire time, right? Well, eventually I got this really light shade, and now I'm picking it up and using that as my color to shade. It's okay to do that, and I'll do that quite frequently. Even in how I color is I will kind of mesh stuff all over the place, and then I'll pick up the colors that I really, really like or think enhance the drawing a bit, and then that pushes it a little bit more just to kind of get my shades down, my shapes down, etc. Keep always looking for shapes. Like I said, I found this eyelid shape while repracticing again. I've been checking out nose shapes lately. Like, look, she's got kind of a solid block here and a solid block here, but the tip of it always follows down from the eyebrow, or the eyebrows down in to the nose. So we can kind of erase into here. Her nose is definitely downward turn because her face is, you know, like I said, her face is down a little bit and she's making the face. Don't focus on little details either. Stay zoomed out when you're trying to get details hammered out. Stay super zoomed out and try to make sure that you get all of the proportions and everything down that you need, right? So, like, I'm already kind of doing bad with that. I should have gotten her hair in a little bit more first. You can't see her other ear, but let's see. From here to here, her hair should, yep, hairline's right about there. Good. Again, guys, I'm going right directly off of the blueprints and stuff that I learned about and taught you guys last time, right? So keep that blueprinting in mind just to help even this out so you don't have to necessarily grid out this face so that you can get her general proportions down. Let's see here. The line from her head about side with her nose, so... Alright, getting kind of... The hair we can be a little bit more fun with. Now with hair too, we'll go over more about hair in a later tutorial, but basic consensus of this is don't draw every single itty bitty line. That's not how hair works. What we see is, again, shapes. We see specific shapes. Like here we've got kind of a triangular shape of her, her hair going on, so we can go just make shapes out of stuff, guys. I love making shapes out of this. That's the way I kind of taught myself, is just what can I see to help break this down so I'm not overwhelmed with all of the details and what I know is there. I know there's every single strand there, but that's not what we're actually going to draw in. We're going to draw these shapes. We're going to draw these shades. We're not sure where the rest of her hair goes here, so we'll just kind of make it up a little bit. Right? Alright. Just getting some more of the little hair details in. Again, it doesn't have to be super perfect. You can kind of make it up and have some fun with it. Just kind of start figuring out what you want to do, guys. This is practice right now. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, you know, super spot on. Just keep doing what you need to help make sense of the work for you so that you can start learning about how you want to do faces and make eyes. You always need to go off of reality. And this will really help. Trying to draw realism first just to get a little bit of it down. Oops, I messed her eye up here. There we go. Alright. Getting back to some more of the details of the face. She's got the shades here, and we can push that more with some of the darker tones that she has. Oops. Alright. So the shapes are slowly coming along. We're kind of getting this face down. Again, it's not 100% perfect, but at least I'm getting an idea of how shapes kind of go. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, look at this shape that we suddenly made for the forehead that makes the forehead kind of pop a little bit. And, okay, we've got some of, you know, the chin shade going on here, and this is how this is making the cheekbones pop. And this is making the lips pop a little bit. Like, holy cow, I'm suddenly making stuff that makes a lot more sense that I can use for my style later. Awesome. Alright. So, let's get her nose again, a little bit more shaping out. And then, guys, once you have most of your details, or at least your basic stuff kind of idealized out, like, okay, you're like, okay, I'm liking the shape of this, it's going pretty good. You can go in and start really enhancing those details and going in and cleaning up how her eyes look and how her, you know, her eyelashes are going to look. Really go in and start hammering out those details for yourself and for your work, unless this is, you know, this is good and how you want it to be exactly like this. But try not to zoom in and do too much detail until you get the basics down exactly so that it looks good from afar. If it looks good and the details look decent from afar, you can totally start going in and detailing it afterwards. But before that, if you start doing it too soon, you're going to get confused, you're going to focus on the eyes too much, and then you're going to realize the rest of the face doesn't add up with the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my worst, absolute worst trait and habit that I do, that I've really had to push myself out of, is staying zoomed out and making sure I don't get too far ahead of myself to where I suddenly go, oh god, I've messed up everything else, you know? And I still do it on occasion. I've had a couple places where you guys are like, Rin, the leg is completely off, and I'm like, oh my god, I totally messed that up. It happens. It's alright. You just, it's more annoying when you have to go and fix it once you've already pretty much finished a drawing. Or, you know, you've spent so much, like 2 or 3 hours detailing this one thing, and you're like, oh, well, everything else is messed up, doesn't fit with it, I'm gonna have to completely delete it. Like, it sucks. And literally at this point, I'm just getting more and more details down. I'm trying to figure out how this nose comes around a little bit more. It's got a little bit darker of a shade, like right there, but not a whole lot. And tone that back down. Get a little bit more of her shade around her cheeks and stuff to really enhance her pucker more. Just smudge those out a little bit. See these shapes that I started making just out of like scribbling around, guys, and putting stuff in and taking stuff out and putting stuff in and taking stuff out? It's what you're just gonna have to do, and eventually you'll start making these shapes and understanding where things need to go. So literally what I just keep doing until I find a shape that I really, really like. And hello everyone who showed up to stream. Sorry guys, I'm not talking too much. I'm just trying to get through the tutorial, really showing, you know, my thought process as I'm working on stuff and understanding details of faces a little bit more. A little bit more of her facial shading around the sides here. She actually has a little bit. I think this looks like Scarlet right now. I don't know why it looks like Scarlet to me, but it totally looks like Scarlet to me. Alright. I'm just literally chunking big sections of her hair, and then we can go back in and hammer out more of the shading and details out of it. It's just literally trying to get the... Oops, that's not the color I wanted. All right. Cool. Another really cool thing, guys, especially for doing some darker shades, especially like her hair, if you really need to, or you're having issues as well with certain shapes, you can literally block it all out in one kind of darker color, and then slowly add highlights in, like I'm doing here on the hair. That's another technique I've kind of picked up over time. That it's not used in all situations, but on occasion when I'm having problems with, like, even proportions, what I'll do is I'll block a whole body out. Like, I'm like, okay, here's how I kind of want the face to be about here, and I want it to be top down, so it's kind of the shoulders here, and, like, I'll just kind of really paint the whole thing out, and I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's how I want it to look. Yeah, that's totally proportionate. But you get what I'm saying? And then I'll start erasing out the details and, you know, stuff like that. That's kind of how I'll work on occasion. So, it's really nice for a ton of situations, but, I mean, you're not going to use it super, super often. It's just when you're really kind of hung up on a detail or so. Also, guys, if you don't do what I do, like, I have a really bad habit of picking up the white and then painting the white in. If you actually keep it to where you only use the eraser on the white stuff, you can actually lock this layer later and then actually color your lines in, which is really, really helpful for when you're trying to paint this and color it later. Just something to keep in mind for future. I have a really bad habit of it, so I'll usually use overlays and stuff. But you can literally color this in into a different color and, like, oh, be like, oh, yeah, I totally wanted her hair to be brown. And then you can, you know, go back up and do a couple of your highlights literally without messing up your drawing itself. But like I said, I did it wrong in the first place, so don't follow my example. Alright, so really quick tutorial aside, that's pretty much it, guys. Is just paying attention to your highlights, paying attention to facial structure, and working off of real life. Keep practicing with these faces. Once you have one down, work on another one. This only took me, you know, what, 30 minutes? It still seems like a little bit of time, but it's already taught me a lot. I feel like I can go in understanding a little bit more about how I want my eyes to look. You know, start getting the shapes of the forehead and the face out a little bit more. Start really hammering out these details that will really, really push your faces, even in anime and cartoons. I'm serious, guys. I really can't say it enough. I know a lot of you kind of, you know, go, but I don't want to draw real people. I want to draw cartoons. I did the same thing, and let me tell you how much it helped me to just do this. And it's actually really fun and kind of relaxing once you start getting some of it down. Like, it just kind of flows, and it feels really good to just do it. Sorry, I'm literally having fun with this right now. I might practice more faces later today. Just get random pictures of people and just kind of doodle stuff out. It's very comforting. Just to practice like this. I really love practicing like this. Like I said, it's not perfect, but for a quick, you know, study of faces and figuring out what I want it for detail in mine and how I'm going to continue making faces and incorporate this in my style, it's really going to help. It's going to help quite a lot, actually. So hopefully this helps you guys. If you have any questions, do let me know. I'm going to be closing this up real soon here and get back to work. So people who are here for the stream, don't worry. I am going to continue working. It's just going to go down temporarily so that I can make a highlight out of this and then put it to YouTube. But yeah, anyone have questions, comments, concerns, please let me know now while I'm still fleshing this out a little bit. And guys, even if you're hearing this on YouTube, if you want to send me your examples and show me what you're working on, please do. I'd love to see how you're progressing with your work. You know, see what you made for faces, how you're practicing and trying to figure out how faces work. Request Scarlet's hair. I could possibly start doing a hand cam for tutorials, maybe. Yeah, that could be a possibility of the future. We'll look into that. People of YouTube as well, if you have suggestions as well that you want me to try doing, or anything, you want to learn something specific, you guys want me to go over some kind of detail, like you're having issues with just eyes, or, you know, send me what you're working on, and maybe we can even do a critique at one time. I'm literally open to anything, guys. Let's get this rolling, you know what I mean? Keep pushing it, keep getting those details in. Keep making it so that you keep learning. Keep progressing. on that note, though, I'm gonna go ahead and close this down. Any extra questions that did not relate to the tutorial, I will answer in just a moment. For those of you who are on stream, give me just a second. It's gonna go down for just a minute, and I will be right back with the stream, so please stick around. For those of you for the tutorial and here for the YouTube part, thank you guys very much for showing up. Again, if you have any questions, comments, anything, you want to learn something specific, you want to learn about eyes, you want to get a critique, you want to see a hand cam, whatever it is, message me, let me know. We're going to keep going with these tutorials. We're going to get to coloring. We're going to get to more specifics. We're going to be working on background too. This is all stuff that I need to practice as well. So me practicing with you guys is not just helping you, it's helping me out a lot too. So push it. Make me try something completely different. How do you draw animals? What are animal proportions? I don't care. Whatever it is, let me know. Send me messages, and I will do my best to get to that tutorial as soon as I possibly can, okay? Thank you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will see you all soon. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, it's twitter.com/RinTheYordle. For YouTube, it's youtube.com/RiniElenika, RINIELENIKA. And Twitch is also RinTheYordle, RinTheYordle. Yordle. Thank you guys. I will see you all later. Peace.